So Zwift racing, you've been riding on Zwift 14 to 16 hours a week. Where do you think Zwift racing is right now? And what, as a World Tour pro, what's your perspective on Zwift racing?
Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge YouTube channel. This is an interview with Mitchelton Scott rider Jack Haig regarding his experiences on Zwift and indoor training and racing. He notably won Stage 4 of Andalucia, beating Mikel Landa and Jakob Fuglsang in a very exciting finish. But I hope you enjoy this excerpt from what is a much longer interview. Give it a like down below if you do.
I really enjoy the platform of Zwift. I think it's a great way of making indoor training entertaining and fun. But it's never going to be like outside. And I don't think you could ever have realistic virtual competition, like even in any other sport. I'm not sure of what other sport is online as much as Zwift, but any other sport that would be like, even running to an extent, maybe. I'm not sure how you would calibrate treadmills or anything like this. Maybe
what about
more realistic.
esports though? Like, what about when they all go to the the qualifiers might be bit funky, but once they all go to the same room, the Cameron Jeffers British National Championships.
Okay.
What if they all go to the same room? Everyone, not even their trainer. And it's on those new Wahoo bikes. It's not even their Wahoo bike. They get put on it. They get to adjust it. Could that? And they got to weigh in 24 hours before, like UFC style.
Yeah.
I guess we're 90% the way there then.
That definitely gets closer, but then why couldn't you run a similar event cyclocross style or criterium style? You can run a criterium in a pretty small hot dog circuit that could be a similar or just a little bit bigger than an arena, and it's probably way more entertaining than watching people ride an ergometer bike.
Yeah, maybe, but it's harder to film. Maybe it's harder to broadcast.
Yeah, no, true.
And then it's also the relatability aspect of it too. Because everyone else uses Zwift, and also the watts per kilo. Like, unless you got a very special circuit, it's watts per kilo aren't going to matter too much.
I see that as a more realistic way of doing esports cycling. Is if you have like the British Championships that everyone was in that room. I forget, it was maybe 6 people or 5 people or whatever that were next to each other. But like you said, there is still so many variables there.
Some people laughed, some people thought it was great. The Ronde van Vlaanderen, which Greg Van Avermaet won. And then but I made a video about it and I said, yeah, but look at the numbers.
Yeah.
600,000 people in Belgium, I think, watched the race. That's just in Belgium.
One of our media managers in the team was saying that we almost got more publicity during the period that Paris-Nice was on by running Zwift events than any team got by competing in Paris-Nice.
Wow. Okay.
And when you think about it in terms of like statistics, at the end of the day, we're essentially just moving billboards for a company to advertise with. We're an advertising agency basically. And for them, sure, they care about results and stuff, but the reason they care about results is because it normally gets more eyeballs. And if we can get more eyeballs by racing on Zwift or doing other forms of racing, and it becomes a better return on investment, then it makes sense, no?
When you talk to guys in the pro peloton, what do people actually think about Zwift racing? Like, do you laugh when you look at the top 10s? Like, honestly?
Yes. Like and it probably hasn't been spoken about like it has been the last 3 weeks. Like before Zwift racing, I'm pretty sure if you spoke to the professional peloton in January this year, most people wouldn't even know what Zwift racing was, or that there was so many races every single day. It's just because of this period that it's got magnified, and now there's a massive influx of professionals using Zwift. And then because we're bored, we're also racing on there. And then screenshots of results get passed around and people start joking.
How many people World Tour can do 6.3 watts per kilo for 20 fresh?
Fresh? There's probably more than you think. There's quite a lot of cyclists out there that can do a 20-minute test and punch out probably really, really good numbers, but they would never make it to a World Tour team because that's not what racing is in real life. Racing on Zwift is that, but racing in real life is not that.
And that's the counter argument. There's been articles written. I'm not sure if you've seen the article. I put it on my Instagram story because I was kind of laughing about it, from one of the Zwift power guys saying why an open letter to pros, why you suck at Zwift racing. And he was talking about how like the physiological requirements were different on Zwift. And I was like, you're right, but you're not mentioning the main real reason.
I reckon that if you scouted people on Zwift and you did a uphill time trial outside, I reckon there'd be more people than you think could beat a World Tour professional.
Okay.
I truly believe the demands of racing are so different to just pure watts per kilo, especially once you start talking about week-long Grand Tour racing. It's so much more than just what you can do for 20 minutes.
I think that another big problem for the pro uptake of it is the gamification of it compared to, say, 100%. The Tour of Flanders one. Like, does that bother you compared, like, that you have to learn the meta of the game?
Yeah. And I actually have been on Zwift since maybe 2016, but it wasn't until this lockdown period that I actually started to use the platform for what it is. Like, I would just ride on it before, whereas now I'm actually doing a lot of events, or I'm actually doing a lot of racing. And when I first started the racing during this lockdown period, you do have to learn the game. Like, there is actual strategy to the game. And until you figure it out, and I don't think I've even figured it out yet, I haven't done enough races, you'll lose. Like I just got dropped going down maybe Alpe de Zwift or one of the big mountains in Watopia. I was doing the Hort route stage, and I just got dropped from the group that I was in going down the hill just because I didn't know the gamification of it or how to stay in the group.
Yeah.
And that's a big aspect to it that as professionals we never had to learn before until this period, and we've started using the platform.
Be Cool did Tour of Flanders. Now, Tour de Suisse, I think, is a separate one. Be Cool was chosen because it's the most realistic, not in terms of the graphics or whatever, but the algorithm that the game works on and how it actually functions is supposed to be the most realistic. And I think for it to appeal to World Tour pros and outdoor riders to compete on it, I think that's the angle that Zwift should probably lean towards.
It's difficult to say what they want to achieve from it other than just giving a good viewing experience, which I think is probably what needs to be maybe focused on a little bit more during this period where it hasn't been refined as much, is maybe not so much on the result, but more on the viewing experience of how we can substitute racing outside for racing indoors and how we can make that entertaining for the viewer and make it entertaining for the athlete.
Make sure to follow Jack on Instagram and comment down below any follow-up questions you have for Jack Haig. There may be a possibility of doing further interviews, and it doesn't have to be about Zwift or indoor training, it can be about anything. I'm going to be releasing videos on the other topics that we discussed the other night in stages, talking about whether he really believes there's a difference between a 1-week stage racer and a full 3-week Grand Tour stage racer, and analysing a couple of the important stages in Andalucia, including one of the stages he won. But as always, subscribe if you haven't already and click the notification bell down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Hope you're all well. I'll see you later. Ciao.